And we are live Wednesday night with those guys.
Y'all gotta keep it down, what's up? What's up, man? How are you?
How you doing?
I'm sorry. Let me get rid of this
How
here.
was your day?
It was actually pretty good. I got home early, which means I didn't have to rush home for once, which was good. And I just needed to get what happened.
Nothing. That was just the background noise on this thingy.
No, I just had
Yeah.
that was me opening the window. Your TV's your TV's loud.
All right. I get it just now. There's no one in the chat yet.
There's 5 people watching. They're waiting for us to start up. Some people start jumping in.
Well, we have a couple of things here tonight we want to discuss. That release that DJI had.
Yeah.
We want to talk about some things that were mentioned over at the symposium with the FAA enforcement.
What's good, Al Diaz?
And we also want to discuss the big helicopter crash here this week.
Well, we wanted to talk about a few things other than the helicopter crash. I'm sure people want to hear about it, being that we're here in New York. What's up, Jay Santiago? Welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. We do have a lot to talk about. First, DJI, and we will talk about the helicopter crash. And at some time and point, it probably will get pretty heated. And
Al Diaz, hey, how you doing?
How would you say the conversation about the helicopter is going to go? Well, either they're going to hate us or they're going to love us, right?
Right. Well, I don't care either way. I'm just gonna, say what I know and what I found out and what I've heard and my opinion.
What happened?
I'm going to give my opinion, not so much on what happened, but on
what should
basically on what happened. But as far as I have no opinion of the pilot because the man is no longer with us, and I my condolences to his friends and family. I feel bad that something like that happened.
I do as well, and my condolences, I'll probably say it several times tonight, goes out to the family of that particular pilot. But I want people to know my personal opinions and some things that I may say concerning to this topic tonight may sound a little harsh. And this is only coming from a drone pilot's point of view. My personal point of view as a drone pilot and knowing some of the laws, if not 85-90% of the laws when it comes to temporary no-fly zones and no-fly zones here in New York City.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I was that's where I was coming from. I mean, like when you place an opinion on things, because when they talk about being a pilot, it's all based on your judgment. So.
Hey, Paul, what's up? You know he's dining. Did you send him a link?
No, I can't send him a link. I was telling you that was the main. I sent one to Val and to you. I forgot to send one to Roger.
Okay, I'm on Gmail and I just happen to have the link right here copied. So hold on a second, Paul, and I will definitely get you up in here. Let me go to compose and P Murray. And you can keep talking, man. This is your stream.
Yeah. Like I said, that whole topic, is a touchy subject because the investigation is not complete. They still have to do their investigations.
Well, I have footage. Okay, Al Diaz says he didn't know about it, but I actually have footage of a helicopter which they claim was his flying erratically. Well, now, when I go to show it, mm-hmm. You'll see that he was.
Oh, I saw it.
And I saw it. Huh?
I saw it.
Okay. Oh, he's out in Al Diaz is out in Cali. He didn't hear about it. Well, anyway,
Well, you're gonna hear about it tonight.
Yeah. You will hear about it tonight, too, and you'll see some footage. I'll actually show the footage before he disappears up into the clouds. To make a long story short, the story is, Al, that there was a no-fly zone in the state of New York for New York City for helicopters because of low cloud ceiling. This cloud ceiling was fluctuating between 400 and 500 feet. Make a long story short, an established helicopter pilot went up in a helicopter that can see through fog and you could fly it through its instruments like a plane, but he wasn't licensed to do so. Anyway, he went up. There's some erratic footage of him flying around a little erratically, and then he disappears up into the clouds. And 11 minutes, 10 minutes
Well,
afterwards, he falls onto the roof of a building.
well, where you going? We might as well just start with the story.
Well, no.
Yeah,
I just let you know what's going
well,
on.
let's start with this DJI release here, where they just released what is it? This little rover.
RoboMaster.
Yeah, the RoboMaster. It's a little tank that fights like in those little what's those robo competitions where
And it fights
they
Diane. What's the name of those robot wars that we used to watch? Robo Wars, Robo Wars, something.
yeah, Robo Wars.
I
That was
just got a text. We might have forgot about Justin, dude.
what happened.
I just got a text when it's saying we might have forgot about Justin. Oh no, I
Did you
didn't.
send it?
I'm gonna send it right now. Paul, we sent the link, bro. Go ahead and discuss it.
It the brainchild behind it was that whole Robo Wars show that you were talking about, and that they wanted to come out with something like that for also as an educational toy for teaching coding, and it has a few features on it, but I think the one main seller for the kids was probably the gun that's on it, that it fires these little plastic pellets that you got to
They're water beads. What happens is
soak them in water or something like that.
yes, you actually soak them in water. They look like little tiny half grains of rice.
Yeah.
Except they're round. You soak them in water and they fill up to like maybe
Like a little TV.
Whatever the size is, they fill up to.
Like
and
a little TV.
You can put them in the Robo.
Little ball bearings.
Right. You can put them in a RoboMaster and hit things, and they're supposed to explode on impact. But I have a feeling
what they do is that when you hit other RoboMasters, from what I saw in the video, it has these zones on the side of it.
Yeah.
And if you hit it, it lights up, and I guess you get your points in the game. You shut the other robot down or something like that. I think that's where they were going with it. That's what I saw from in the video I was watching with it. But honestly, I would never buy that for the kids.
Well, let me explain something. I have an article up here. It says DJI's newest drone is a $499 tank meant to teach kids how to code. And I'm 100% for that. And the reason is the United States, as far as technology, is like a third world country when it comes to their children and college students knowing about coding and programming and stuff. When I came up in school, you needed to know how to program or do something on the computer tip, because if you didn't, they said in the future you would be left behind.
Right. Well, I agree with you on that. The only problem is, like I said to you, I saw a video on this thing, and 2 of those robots littered the living room with those little pellets.
This is what I'm saying. Can you imagine how pissed off someone's mother's going to be? They come home, these little white pellets, shattered pellets are all over the place.
Yeah.
Because what happens when when you dip them in the water, it absorbs the water like a sponge. And when it hits like a bullet, it shatters.
Mm-hmm.
When the water evaporates, you have these little white dots all over the place. And
the hardwood on these people's living room floor was littered with that thing.
Yeah, I wish I could have saw that video with it. I have some pictures here of the robot running a track. And doesn't it have active track as well,
yes,
like the drones?
Yes, it does.
That's kind of scary. You put a real gun on that sucker, and I posted this on Facebook, and someone was saying, "Oh, what a cute thing, a robot." That he said I would put a flat surface on top and have it deliver beers to the neighbor or something. And I
Well,
said the same thing can be done if you just put a gun on top of it and tell it to go take your neighbor out.
well, I'll tell you this: the day they combine that with that little hopper joint that they have or whatever, I don't know if they're gonna come out with that. Did they come out with it? When they'll come out with it? I don't know. But if they combine the two of them, that could be dangerous.
I agree, but for the they claim, and I told you this earlier, and I might have told you the other day. I said you heard it from me first. Don't be surprised if DJI goes into the military, gets into military stuff.
Well, I'll tell you
All
this:
right.
I don't worry too much about the artificial intelligence until it's more than 4 feet tall.
Well, it's more than that now. They have drones that can swarm with artificial intelligence already. And
I
I have,
understand that, but I'm saying to you, these robots and stuff, I don't worry about them until they're taller than 4 feet tall.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Because
I can get going on something that's more less than.
what'd you say? The 1, 2?
Yeah, but when they start becoming 7 footers like Schwarzenegger in the movie, we're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. And hopefully I won't be alive when that happens.
Oh
'Cause
no, I
that's gonna
won't
be
be
that's
alive
gonna
when it
be
come out.
that's gonna be ugly.
No, I won't be alive if it come out tomorrow.
Well, all I know is um I sent Paul Murray the
Yeah,
link, I sent
Paul was
Justin, I
having
sent
problems
Val the link.
getting in. I
So
sent Val the link, and I sent you the link.
well, Val may be working. Paul
Yeah,
Murray.
Paul was having problems coming in, I think, because his camera, I couldn't see him.
Oh, he popped in. Did you see him pop in? Because I didn't see anything.
No, I saw him trying to come in. It said he was in, but it just showed the blue background. It didn't show.
Oh, it never showed him popping in completely.
Right.
Well, getting back to the DJI RoboMaster, to be
Yeah.
honest, DJI, let it go. You can't control everything, guys. You have a control on a drone market. You have a drone on the industry camera making drone market. You only thing that you haven't covered DJI and people are waiting for it since you're so badass with regular drones are racing drones. You built a pair of goggles, DJI, and you don't have a racing drone. And did you know DJI sells racing drone parts to
Yes.
companies?
Hmm. Now, you know what? I think you talk about the racing drone. I don't know why they haven't done it yet, but I'm waiting for the watch.
A DJI watch?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the watch.
What, that could fly everything?
Oh no, I'm gonna tell you something about DJI. They're feeling themselves, and I don't think they won't come out with a watch. Apple's
Well,
got one. All the big boys has got one. And the big boys don't have drones.
well, yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
You have a valid point there, very valid point. Now, hey, 250 grams favored racing drones like a toothpick. Well, check this out. I have a drone here that you can cruise anywhere from 5 miles per hour to 25, 30 miles per hour, which is fast enough for a beginner in racing drones. And it has an onboard DVR at 1080p, and it's just 3-inch right here on the wall. All right. It went and it's below 250 grams. It's actually 180 with the battery, a little over or close to 200, maybe a little less than 200. But when it comes to the point, Al Diaz, where we can't fly our DJI drones, how much you want to bet everyone's going to be building racing drones? That's all you're going to see. They already have, huh?
That it's funny you said that, but because what DJI that thing you had mentioned before, I think it was what was it called again? The that little programmable box they had for the Matrice that was it the Matrix or something like that?
Oh, the
What was it you called it? I saw an
I know
article.
what you're talking about. It was the computer.
Yeah, that
I
was
did-
for people to be able to build different programs and platforms for
right,
drones.
open source, not
Yeah.
the Matrix. I
Yeah,
what
I'm trying to
the
remember
hell?
what
The
it was called.
Manifold.
Manifold.
The
That's
Manifold 2, because the first one First Manifold went into Inspires, and it
Right,
wasn't open source. Now the Manifold 2 is an open source computer chip for drones.
right.
So I'm wondering if they're actually going to meant to say DJI should come out with size drones, different size, well, racing size drones. You know what? I have
Kind
a
of.
feeling DJI is just taking notes and they're waiting to see where this goes. If they get shut out of the consumer world of drones, they can go military or they can go racing. I'm just
Well,
saying, or they can go into movie production.
I think that they're going to just stay in the industry like that as far as the commercial grade.
Hold on. I see him. Can I hear him? Say something, Paul.
Hello,
Hey, how
Paul?
you doing?
Okay.
All
How you
right,
doing?
we can hear you. We can hear you fine.
Okay. You can hear us?
Yep. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can. So, Paul,
I had
when are
to
you getting,
restart my computer for some reason. I don't
when are you getting a RoboMaster?
know. I'm not. I think it's exciting if I had grandchildren or kids or something of that age, it has a lot of potential to get people excited about electronics and artificial intelligence and all that kind of thing. But I can you see an old guy like me down by the river running one of them little things?
No, see, but I can see a guy like you running about 4 or 5 of them around like little puppies. But we had started out talking about those because that was the big thing that DJI was coming out with, and everyone suspected when they turned the wheel like this. I said it looked like a focus wheel on a Rona.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, do you remember? And
Yep.
but when someone did mention something spinning in the background, I did think of a tire, like a racing.
Yep.
But you know what, though? You were shown this in a smaller form a long time ago, and then it disappeared.
What?
This robo joint here. You saw this a long time ago, and then it disappeared.
Hey, Paul, Jay
We knew
Santiago says hello.
we knew that something like this magnitude had existed, but DJI never went anywhere with it.
Yeah.
And where did we see it?
This was a long time ago. This came to players. They had leaked some pictures or whatever of something, but it never went anywhere.
Well,
Well, now,
you know what? I did see because I do shop on Chinese websites. Okay, I did see these robots that are about 8 inches tall. You have to program them, okay, through your computer. They have shields, they have lasers, and you put them up against each other. It's like they look at each other and they're like, let's go. And they start fighting karate and all this stuff. And they're from China. And I thought that DJI would have wanted to jump on something like that because these little robots were like $300.
yeah.
But they run up to each other. They slice. If you hit them right, you knock the sword down. These robots were really, really high tech, and that's where I thought DJI was going when I heard RoboMaster.
Well, I think what they did is they stepped it up a level. Now they're shooting those little pellets and
The water pellet.
yeah, and it does so much. And the other thing too is if you go to their website and you look at it, you can buy it for $4.99, but it says limit. They put a limit on it of only 3 at this time until they get restocked. And if you watch some of their push is they're racing them. They're using them in combat against each other because you can
There
just
are
turn the
major
laser on.
tournaments, Paul.
Yep.
There are major tournaments in China and Japan with
Yep.
these RoboMasters, except they're putting little axes on them. They're
Yep.
putting little buzz saws, so and here's something new. The RoboMaster's new to us.
Yep.
It's been out in Asia for a while. What I
Yeah.
think is they're trying to get the rest of the world on the bandwagon because if
Yeah.
us stupid Americans, as everyone calls us, gets onto these RoboMasters,
Yeah. It'll explode.
everyone else will buy them.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is, I see this being a good idea for kids only because of the fact that we're starting to introduce
Coding.
robotics from a younger age.
Right.
Robotics is a major point in our life, because I remember when we did the hospital up the street, and I worked on that, and there's a lot of robotics in there. They in the operating rooms.
Yep.
In some of these, even in some of these X-ray rooms, it's like they can control so much from just a panel and this arm and all these things, and
Well, look, I'm going to
surgeries and things like that. So the robotics is there. It's just that they're trying to push it at a younger age now here in the States.
Well, I was into robotics when I was younger. You may not have known this, but I was. A few of you may have been into it and didn't even know. Remember Rock'em Sock'em Robot?
Yeah. 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 Well, and the thing of it is with this is called the S1. So that leads you to believe there's going to be an S2, S3, S4.
Yeah, but what happened to A1, B1, C1? Okay, I'm pretty sure that they say S. They're already at the letter S, Paul.
I'm waiting for the Hopper to come out.
What? Oh, the spider?
Yeah.
Listen, you want to know what? That's really scary, because they're showing you stuff. They're trying to introduce you to stuff. Love my drones. Hey, what's up? He knocked your block off. He remembers that. Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
Drone. What's up, man?
If you remember in what is that? The Transformers.
Yeah.
They all had little spider bots repairing them.
Yep.
Okay, this is where they're going, because if you can get one of these spider bots to stick on the wall and repair a junction box, Herman, you're out of work as an electrician.
Yep.
Well, you know what's funny about that? We're talking about these things. You're telling me about DJI. Look for DJI to go military. If you have it, they already got it.
Yep.
True.
And
they're finished with that stage.
And if they already have it, that means the U.S. military now wants it too. So it's like.
Well, that's what I mean. If you have it,
then
the U.S. military already had it.
Yep, but also the Chinese military.
Yeah, I agree. But Paul, we were actually kind of stalling because we know everybody wants to talk about the helicopter incident here in New York. So we were trying to let some more people come in. And I know it's beautiful outside here in New York. I don't know how it is. How's the weather over by you, Paul?
Oh, it's sunny, high cloud, just wispy clouds and sunny, and not a lot of wind, probably 7-8 mile an hour winds. And
oh, I wish it's over here right now. I can't tell you. But I have a tree that I look at, and it's just barely waving. So I'm guesstimating about 10 miles per hour. Yeah. I'm going to look at an app and a Kitty Hawk and see what Kitty Hawk says it's doing real quick. 15 miles per hour, gusting to 22. But getting back to what we were talking about, hey, what's up, EBR? Hey, EBR, I got some FPV news later on. And Jerry Freeman, thanks for popping in as well. We really appreciate you guys coming I appreciate you coming to Sunday nights with those guys, but we really appreciate you coming to Herman's channel because we're trying to get Herman monetized.
Yeah.
Because if both of those guys can be monetized, that means we would both be able to do a lot more. So when we go sponsored by those guys, then we could really say we're sponsored. We do that now, but we need to get Herman monetized.
Like I was saying, that DJI drone, it's a great idea to start introducing coding, now. I told you before, my niece is in her final, she's got one more year, I think, of 2 more years of junior high school. Right. And she just finished elementary school. They're doing coding now.
Yes, and I'm so pissed because I can only wish the United States had jumped on the bandwagon
sooner,
20 years ago.
Yep.
Because right now, even though our children are behind, we're going to catch up. And when we do, we won't need to buy Chinese parts or
Well,
Chinese merchandise.
you know what? We did have it, and kids did go to school for it. It's just that you had to be that smart kid that they would allow to do it.
Yeah, and it's a cultural thing though too. You know, in the United States, for some reason, the smart kids were the ones that were picked on, and they were called nerds and oddballs and everything else. But in if you go to the Far East and some of those other countries, those are the ones that everybody wanted their kids to be like. You know,
True. True. That
Right.
is true. And if you in other countries, if you're not a nerd, you there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to be
Or
a child protege or something, a pianist, a technician, a doctor, a pharmacist, or something.
Yep.
You know, Hardly. Hey, Hadley, what's up, dude? How are you? And welcome to Wednesday Nights with those guys.
Hey, Hadley, what's up?
We were
Thomas,
just talking
what's up?
about DJI and their toy that you could kick over and that's it. Because basically, all right, it shoots little water pellets. And I was joking around on Facebook, telling someone, now when the government gets their hands on it and they put a gun on it, what are they going to do? And Herman says he wouldn't be worried until they got to be about 6 or 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
But something that small, you could let out the back of a truck somewhere. You guys watch Mission Impossible and all these crazy movies. If they're showing it to you in a movie, I can almost guarantee you the tech is there, because if you remember James Bond, the guy with the jetpack, that jetpack really worked because they didn't have special effects.
Right.
Right.
He was tethered to a cable, but dude was still flying around in a jetpack. You know what I'm saying?
Only that one.
Yep. And the other thing too is that Herman mentioned it last night in a conversation we were having, is that just because it's toy size now, somebody's going to scale that sucker up to life size or bigger.
Right. Right now, that could be, in model terms, that's like a 1/47th of an actual 100% size. And a lot of people don't realize that. Just like when we were little, we used to build models and cars and stuff like that, and it was shrunk down to 1/43rd of an actual, you know.
Yeah.
Now look at some of these RC cars that they have out there.
Yeah.
Okay, but where do you want to go? Where do you want to go next? We want to hit this New York story now, or we want to hold on?
You want to go with the enforcement on with the FAA?
Oh yeah, Paul. We don't know if you've been keeping up with this, but at the symposium, what they failed to show in video was the fact that these major drone companies and or industrial drone companies that are going to be flying drones all over the city have let us know that the FAA is not here to enforce us. The FAA is here to enlighten us and teach us on how to fly safely. Right. Now, the FAA has said, for those of you guys that are out there flying rogue, well, check this out. We can't enforce you, but Homeland Security can.
Well, what they're actually saying is, Paul, that the FAA is really not. They never have been, but they will blow the whistle or give you up to the guys who can place whatever you know.
Yep.
Actually, criminally charge you.
I kind of already knew that, simply because I fly on the border, and it was about 2 years ago when I got surrounded by border protection and everybody else and state police and whatever, until they got to know me, I got to know them, and now we just wave at each other and we get conversations and everything else. They had got a call that there was a terrorist flying a drone down by the Blue Water bridges. And so I got surrounded, and of course,
yeah, Roger.
But those guys are just people too. You talk to them and show them how things work. And I passed out cards to everybody. Say, you guys got any questions or whatever? And in fact, a few days later, I was north of the bridge flying, and a big SUV pulled up from Homeland Security. A bunch of them got out and started asking me questions, and how does that work? And we need to get something like that. I said, yeah, you guys do. And I said, if you guys want any help of learning to fly or whatever, I'd be more than happy to help you guys.
107, practiced.
Yep.
That's how you do it. That's
Yep.
exactly how you freaking do it. I don't blame you. Hey, Roger, if you'd like to come in, we would love to have you in here. Hadley, remember the issue we had on FPV Sundays? Well, you're gonna laugh. I've had people, Paul and Herman. I've literally, old guy in a drone. What's up? I've had people all around the world, in Asia, in Europe, in the United States, in South America. No one could help me find out why my receiver tab was not working in beta flight. You want to know what the problem was? Hadley, you FPV guys will understand this, and then I'll get back to the story. I promise, Herman. But the receiver that they send you, that you put into the drone so you can communicate between a radio.
Yeah.
Well, when I ordered the drone, I ordered one non-EU, non-European version, meaning I'd send me the American version for the FAA.
Yeah.
These dummies sent me the European version. So now I have my controller set up in the FAA regular United States way, and it was causing conflict with the European receiver. Nobody, I mean, I spent hours on Hangouts and everybody was trying to help me. And come to find out, a guy who's dead helped me with it. And you FPV guys might know him, Blue Falcon. He has a channel. He somehow I don't know how he wound up dying or whatever, but someone gave me his video, and he said, "See, Love My Drone says I never thought of that." So in his video, it says this is how you can tell if it's a European version or in US or American version. And when I plugged it up, I said, those effers sent me a European receiver. And he said, but don't worry about it. Yes, Blue Falcon left and it was a motor accident.
Yeah.
Well, to make a long story short, I flashed it with the United States version, and my center whoop can fly.
All right.
Okay. All right, Herman.
Finally. It can
Yeah, and I've been at this for over 2 months. Herman has been
Now you gonna buy another one?
and complain and everything. Hell yeah. Let me give another one.
As long as it took you to get that one going, it's about that time for another one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it took someone from the grave that helped me resolve the issue, and I appreciate all of you guys' help. Seriously.
So the FAA basically is saying that they will constantly keep putting the train back on the track until you just can't be put back on the track anymore. And what they mean is that they're going to educate, they're going to, impose, that you comply with the rules and regulations of that they've set forth for hobbyists and stuff like that. And also, well, for, commercial pilots, but mainly for the hobbyists. And what they were talking about was civil penalties and certificate actions. So basically, if you they're also talking about this is that if you're operating as a 107 pilot without a 107 certificate, there will be some heavy penalties and fines imposed upon you.
Yes. And I do know of a few 107 pilots that fly without waivers, and then if they're confronted, they say, "Oh, today I'm flying as a hobbyist." Well, you, Herman, and everyone else, Paul, you've seen Ken Herron's video about flying as a hobbyist and flying as a 107 pilot, and you can get into a lot of trouble. I mean, more so than a hobbyist because you have a license.
Yeah, you can't claim ignorance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they're seriously talking about getting Homeland Security involved because none of the local agencies want to be involved in this. It's pretty much like the war that they were having here in New York, where the FAA was saying, you local municipalities handle the drone pilots, and local municipalities, the police, were saying the FAA is supposed to handle it. It's the air. We got crime to look after.
We got other things to do. Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, and like they said, the agencies that they're going to use to come after you with is the Department of Justice, the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, the Transportation Inspection General, inspector general, and local municipality. So depending on what laws you have broken and where, that's the agency is going to come after you. So if you're flying past the UN,
Later, Roger.
Homeland Security will be following you.
Yes, right. Depending on where you're flying, dictates on who's going to come after you. And we have the perfect example. We will not mention no names, Herman, but here in New York, we had a drone pilot that was flying a little, he was flying where he shouldn't have been one or two times, I'm going to say.
Yep.
And he got a letter from the FAA to his house saying, these are the rules and this is how you should be flying. Now, with what we're talking about, them giving out, with them enforcing, now what they'll do is, okay, we gave you a letter the first time. The second time, all right, now you know you're doing what you're doing and you're not trying to correct it. I can almost guarantee you the third time somebody's going to be knocking on your door.
Well, if not someone's knocking on your door.
Hey, the Ward House, how are you and welcome.
They have a tendency to find you at work.
Well, yeah, don't you think that's kind of messed up? You're at work and the feds come pick you up and they're like, oh my God, was he an immigrant? You know. You know,
Coming to pick you up and it's like they think, oh, Homeland Security come pick you up at your job. What did he do? We had a terrorist working here all this time.
Right. Can you imagine? And I can see my neighbors now. I knew he was up to no good, leaving out at 5, 6 in the morning, coming back late at night with their bag.
Your supportive neighbors, they'll stick up for you.
Oh,
right?
yeah. They're like, they're like, he usually leaves at 5 a.m. Today he left early. He must have knew you were coming.
Yeah.
But he'll be back at 7.
He always has a bag on his back. I think he has his things in there.
Yeah.
That's probably where he's been carrying it all this time.
And with my neighbors, they're like, I see him in the backyard with these little tiny ones. Maybe he's using those to spy on people.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen some of the little ones the military has?
Yes.
Yeah, like a hummingbird.
That's what I'm trying to tell you about these things. That they can send these things in to spy in a room somewhere like 6 feet above your head. You don't even know it's there.
Well, all I know is I was going to talk about an article. Now we know that they're putting AI in the drones. Everyone's seen the military video of hey Brent. Everyone's seen the military video of them releasing a swarm from a plane, and then the swarm leaving the plane and swarming together and coming down and attacking a target. Everyone's seen that video, I'm quite sure. Okay, well, check this out. Those drones are limited in speed, but I have an article here that says they're experimenting with putting AI into racing drones. So not only do you have drone swarming, but imagine a drone coming at you at 100 miles per hour. And imagine hundreds of them swarming like that.
Yep.
You know, think about it. I can barely get out of the way of a freaking Phantom. Who the hell can get out of the way of a racing drone?
Oh, yeah.
You understand where I'm going with this?
You carry a tennis racket with you.
A tennis racket.
But, you know, that's what Roger's going to start carrying on his porch because Kim keeps chasing him down with those Cinewhoops.
Hey, Mr. Crowd, what's up? Anyway, getting back to that, I thought it was interesting because they're actually have a racing drone. They're teaching a racing drone to fly a course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first time that it flies, and they're doing this to race against an actual professional drone pilot. A lot of FPV guys know him as Nurk from Drone Racing League. To make a long story short, they want to know if they can program a drone with AI, teach a drone with AI to beat a human in racing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a takeoff, isn't it? Remember, what was the name of that IBM computer where they put it up against the greatest minds?
Watson.
Yeah, Watson.
Yes. Watson is real. Watson controls swarming, by the way.
Well, he's the only one that probably could,
Yep.
because he can actually read everything publicated and that's been published in no time and understand everything about it.
Yeah, almost in real time. I mean, like boom, done. You know.
Love My Drone says in Call of Duty, there's a thing called that you can get. It's called the Swarm. And basically drones that come at you and blow up when they get close.
Yeah.
Not far-fetched. Well, let me tell you something. A friend of mine told me this many years ago, and I thought he was freaking crazy. And he said, I will prove my theory to you right now. He says, everything that you see on TV, everything from the Janet Jackson nippleage to everything that you see is what they want you to see, and they're trying to prepare you for. And I said, well, how can you prove this to me? And he said, well, at the time the movie was it was with who's the actor? Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was in it, and I think Sylvester Stallone was chasing him in the future or something like that. Okay, and Wesley Snipes, he was a criminal from the past who wound up in the future. And to make a long story short, in that particular movie, he told me, he said, movie actors will become presidents and leaders of our country because so many people like to see their face. And then Ronald Reagan became president. Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor, or senator, whatever he was going for. Jesse the Body Ventura, the controversy man, he got into politics. And just to say, you remember James Bond, that little jetpack?
Yeah.
Didn't we just see somebody with props on his feet flying around over the water recently?
Yep.
It's going to happen.
And the sad part of it is
Demolition Man, you're correct, Al. What's that?
What's really going on? We don't even have a clue about behind the closed doors. That's just what little bit we glean and can figure out. Those guys are probably way ahead of us.
Well, think about
earlier. If they're allowing you to have it, then the military's finished with it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Think something else to go along with it.
Yep.
Mr. Crowley says he wants a jetpack.
It's just like if you ever you watch well, there's a lot of people out here that watch auto racing.
Yeah.
When you look at NASCAR and also like with the European the sports car racing, like the 24-hour Le Mans race.
Yeah.
These car manufacturers use those races to test the technology at extreme pressure, so they know where they can go with, where they got to dial up or dial back.
Right.
What they put out for us.
Right. They know what temperature a manifold starts melting at.
Exactly. All of that stuff they learn from these things. Even with repair.
Well, I assume, even though the RoboMaster, getting back to that, even though we got to get to this helicopter story, but even though the RoboMaster seems to be a toy and a remote control, it's called an AGV, something related to ground drone. They make it a ground drone, okay? But the point I'm getting at is, if they're testing that technology on people like DJI tested all their drones on us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine where they're headed with this.
Autonomous ground vehicle is what you're talking about.
Exactly. Now you can program this thing and tell it to go up the block and shoot someone in the leg 100 times with the pellets, and then follow the next car up the block with active track and hide behind it.
And record license plates and transmit it back and all kinds of things.
Exactly. And did you see the thing, even though it has 4 wheels, it can go sideways.
Well,
I saw that. Yeah.
Well, Lawrence, this is why I said to you, I don't worry about these things until they get bigger. We live in New York.
Yeah.
We have rats bigger than that.
Right. But we also see dead cats in the street from getting hit by cars.
Yeah, the sad part is,
people hit anything.
What'd you say, Paul?
The sad part is, though, I don't think it's that far in the future that if you get on the subway, you could have an AI robot sitting next to you in the seat next to you, that was going to be a version of this. Not like you see in the movies today, but I'm talking about it might be sitting next to somebody helping a senior citizen as a mobility device or something else, you know.
Okay. I don't know if I want to get too close to those things.
Exactly.
But
Hey,
what
back
I
from
wanted
the sky.
to say to you also about the with the enforcement and stuff like that, and this might be something that a lot of guys might be, happy with. A violation of 18 USC 32.
Yes.
That is
Can you
the
explain that?
that is the shooting down of a drone.
Yeah.
It is illegal for someone to shoot your drone down. If you make it aware to the FAA that your drone was shot down, that they will pass on to the Department of Transportation, Inspector General, and the Department of Justice to go after the person that shot your drone down. Also, the local, police, because it's illegal to shoot down a drone.
Yes, right. So now keep this in mind.
Only those enforcement agencies, such as the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense, is allowed to do that.
Right. So if someone does shoot your drone down, and say hypothetically you're flying it a little too low, and they had an incident here in New York recently where someone shot down a drone, and the person didn't get in trouble because the particular town that he lives in are a bunch of rich snoots. But I can guarantee you, had it happened somewhere else, they might have been able to do a lot more about it. And
well, I would hope that would move in that direction. But up to this point, if you watch all the news articles going back 3 or 4 years, everybody that's had their drone shot down, the police come out, take reports, they report it to the FAA, they report it to the feds, and everybody says, well, you handle it. Well, you handle it. Well, you handle it. And nothing happens. And then the guy wants to get his drone back from the property owner that shot his drone down, and the police have to go there and negotiate to return his equipment to the owner.
Well, according to this guy Charles from the FAA, it shouldn't go down that way.
Right. He said it's not supposed to, but we know local jurisdiction that doesn't want to be involved will be involved up into the point where once they start having to fill out too much paperwork. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, once they have to work.
Yeah. And it's like, but I kind of understand it. It's like prosecutors, they've got budgets, and they're like, you're kidding me? You want me to go after somebody on a drone crime? I'm having enough time. The old lady down the street getting ripped off at the ATM,
So what makes her property? But what makes her property or someone's camera that might have gotten stolen more important than my camera?
Exactly right. And that's the issue: is either they get serious with it, which they haven't in the past, or they just turned a blind eye until somebody else figures out.
Well, there's ways of making people in these offices and these local municipalities and even the FAA. There's ways of making them do something about it.
Yeah.
You see, no one's above shame. Once you're above shame, then there's nothing we can do with you.
Well, it's going to take. Here's what I think that it would help the situation immensely: is somebody with deep pockets. It happens to them, and they get some of the biggest, baddest attorneys, and they sue the hell out of everybody.
Well, you know what we have here? We have a couple of people on the news here that have like these little segments where they go around, like say like a business did wrong and they wouldn't make good on it to you.
Yep.
You contact them and they'll go and embarrass this dude on television.
Yep.
And next thing you know it, he's paying you because he doesn't want that embarrassment.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you. I'm trying.
We had an incident here with a nail salon and women that had an incident with the nail salon, and the people made an uproar. The news got involved, and the people stood in front of the nail salon. Nobody would they got no business. They ended up shutting down.
And see, that's the way it should work, and it should work for people that have drones too, because it just either is a law or it isn't a law,
right?
And it is a law,
So So, you know, Lawrence disappeared.
No,
But,
I'm back.
Lawrence,
But yeah,
that's great footage there, Lawrence.
Hey, what's up,
the,
Night
the,
Train? Thank you much.
the other day, yeah, Lawrence, the other day at 787 7th Avenue, about 752 feet in the air, there was a plane crash or a helicopter crash. And the pilot, Tim, what's his name? McCormick?
Yes.
Yeah,
it was.
he lost his life in that helicopter crash. You know, I said it earlier. I say it again. You know, my condolences to his friends and his friends and family.
His friends and family, I agree. But
It was
I
a
expressed,
tragic situation.
hold on, I got to put a disclaimer. My
Yeah.
condolences go out to his friends and family, but my personal feelings and what I'm about to say about this incident, some may agree with and may not.
Well, the one thing I say is, like I said, you know, according to the FAA, he was not licensed to fly under these conditions. Even though the helicopter that he was flying could fly in these conditions, you know, there was also no helicopters flying in New York City on that.
At that time, there was a temporary no-fly zone due to the low cloud ceiling, which fluctuated between 400 feet and 500 feet. Keep in mind, he hit a helicopter. He crashed on the top of a building at 752 feet, like you said. Now, I have, you guys may have seen it. Al Diaz in California didn't know anything about it, but I'm going to set up the footage to show him flying erratically. Okay, now, when I do set this up and show it, I want to point out they are actually, when you see this guy, he's actually diving towards the water. And the reason he's diving towards the water is as soon as you take off, and Paul, you may know this and you may not, but when you fly into a fog, depending on the temperature, it's like getting in your car. If you try to drive, your windows fog up until the temperature normalizes inside.
You're right, between inside and outside.
Now, in this particular video, he actually went up from 34th Street, where they said he took off from, and someone started recording because they're like, "Oh wow, a helicopter's flying."
Well, he was headed to a heliport in Linden, New Jersey.
Right, but on radar, the radar showed him doing several figure eights. Now, if the helicopter is doing a figure eight, either the back rudder's busted or he doesn't know where the hell he's going. Now, I want to show this video real quick so we can get on with the conversation, and this way, for the people who didn't see it, they can see what's going on. So just bear with me 1 second. It's only a few seconds of video, but it shows how erratic the guy was flying. And what was really scary about it is this guy was, at this point, was diving towards the water. So you guys can see this, right?
Yep.
Okay. This is supposedly that helicopter. Now what happens is now he's going back up again and he's heading towards Manhattan. He's supposed to be heading towards Jersey. He's going in a completely wrong direction.
The wrong direction.
Now what happens is he realizes this and starts rising up. Okay, as he fades off into the clouds. Now keep in mind the cloud cover at this time was at 300 to 500 feet. Okay, and
now you see that.
Long story short, you see. Well, hold on, not that.
Hey, get out of here.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of here.
My point.
But that building that you see there, that building is shorter than the building that he hit.
Yeah.
Right. And that building was almost up in the fog.
Now, I don't know if anybody is familiar with New York City, but what he did was he took off from 34th Street on the east side, headed south, and went around the Battery and headed back uptown instead of into Linden, New Jersey.
Right. Instead of crossing the water.
Erratic flying.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't cross across town because of the no-fly that's around Trump Towers.
Yeah. Well,
So
but the other question, maybe you guys know, I watched it on national news. Of course, you get whatever, and they also said that the control towers and the airspace controllers had no knowledge of him flying.
exactly.
Now, see, this is where I may sound mean, and where people may disagree with me, but I'm going to tell you something. He was an established pilot, right? He was already delayed 2 hours due to weather because he couldn't fly, and they had grounded all helicopters in the city. The fact that he was able to get in this helicopter and take off means the tower knew he was getting in a helicopter and taking off. And pretty much it goes to show what happens when you know people, or I may even say it may be a privilege to be a helicopter pilot as famous as him.
Well, since I don't know about heliports like in the city there, I don't know if they're manned by FAA controllers, but I know like out here the smaller airports don't have FAA controllers. They just have somebody at a desk or somebody administrative that talks to pilots. And if the pilot says, "Well, I'm taking off and I'm going," oh, okay.
Well,
Same thing.
in fact, it's funny that you mention that, Paul, because here in New York, exactly, he had no business going up back from the sky. But here in New York, what the FAA does is we don't have enough employees to send to 22 heliports. So
Yeah.
what we'll do is, if you give us a licensed pilot, we will give him control of the airwaves and the FAA, and you have to hand them off from tower to tower, just like airplanes do.
Yep.
Okay. And 9 times out of 10, that guy that let him go up, he should lose his freaking job.
Oh,
But
sure.
you won't hear that.
Yeah.
And
Or if
that's my outfit off.
if it was just some gal in the office there at the desk, answering the radio call.
Everybody went home.
And you know what?
Everybody went home.
And here's the thing. And the guy, like I said, the guy is gone.
Yeah.
It's easy to say now that he is gone that there was that the air traffic control at LaGuardia didn't know he was in the air.
Yeah, they're all going to deny it.
Right, because there's no what do we get out of saying that we knew he was up there?
Yeah.
They didn't know that 3 planes were hijacked on September 11th either. So my thing is, like I said, the guy is gone. We don't know what made him take off.
Now they're trying to say also, Herman,
You
that
understand?
he may have been having engine power.
Right, they don't know because the investigation is not completed.
Right,
Yeah.
but I can tell you one thing that I believe happened, and this is from more and more information that we're getting here in New York, and that is the cloud base was from 400 to 500 feet, and it was not raining that low, below the cloud base, okay? But at 600 to 800 feet, it was raining. Now, the building was 752 feet,
752 feet.
which means he probably said, "Oh man, I'm not headed where I am. Let me go up and see if I can go above the cloud base."
Oh, yep.
And what happened, he ran into the rain. Now,
Yep.
all the helicopters were grounded in New York because of the rain. These helicopters fly great in the wind. They can fly in light drizzle, but they cannot fly in heavy. They're not supposed to fly in heavy downpours. They can, but they're not supposed
Also
to.
the visibility issue
What
because
I think happened, right? The visibility, they say, was a half mile.
less than
A half a mile is 10 blocks.
Well, and this is all speculation, but in my mind, after he got in the air and he got in trouble, he panicked because he says, "I should have never taken off."
You saw the dive, right? That was recently after taking off.
Yep.
Now, the reason he dived is because as soon as he went up, he must have lost visual, because once he pulled away from Manhattan, 10 blocks seems like a lot, but when you live here in the city, it's a very short distance. And from what I can see, and this is my hypothesis, after he got up into the rain, and this is just my thought, he must have said, "Wow, I'm at 800 and some feet. Let me go back down where it's not raining." And on his descent down, boom, he hit the building.
Yep.
That could be, that's
what I believe happened too.
hypothesis.
But didn't he make it all the way around the battery and come back up?
Yes. But he lost orientation. Instead of coming down 34th Street and making a right turn and going straight into New Jersey. He came around and made a U-turn around the peninsula of Manhattan. Now that there should have let him know, hey, I'm in trouble. When he took off and dove towards the water, he probably said, oh no, the water, and pulled up. And that's what made him start rising and going on with his trip. We
Yeah.
will never know. And even the guys who are investigating it, they can only come up with a hypothesis on
Right.
what happened.
Because after testing out the wreckage and whatever they find, and then they find that there was no engine failure or anything like that, they can only speculate what's going to happen.
Yeah. Speculation. Yeah.
Because, you know, the guy.
Well, they're going to also dig into his medical records to see
Right.
does he have
something,
an issue or.
here's something
it was somewhat of a blessing that he did land on that roof. The amount of
right, and they're calling him a hero for that.
that would have taken place in that densely populated area. How you doing, Val?
Now,
But a
my
helicopter
problem is,
7th Avenue.
yeah, but Herman, my issue is they're calling him a hero.
Right.
Now, you're a hero because you crashed a helicopter on the top of a building in a temporary no-fly zone. Okay. Why are they calling you a hero? Now, had he hit the building or the roof of the building, or had he hit the side of the building and tore down buildings and took people out, there's no reason, excuse, I don't care what anyone says, that he should have been allowed off the ground. And like Paul said, he was allowed off the ground because there's probably some secretary sitting there doing her nails, and he's like, look, I can't wait anymore. I got to go home. Don't tell nobody. Now, here's the issue that I have. That particular helicopter was not sanctioned to have a black box because it was a kit. He built that helicopter from a kit. Now, helicopters that are built to fly are not required by FAA to have black boxes, and therein lies my issue. Because if they had a black box, they would be able to tell you everything that he did.
Right. And like I said, no one will ever know what he did. And I'll say it again, you know, my condolences to his family and his friends, because it's a bad thing. And I hate the way things play out, you know. For all we know, LaGuardia was well aware that he was where he was. And now that this is the outcome, it's going to be said that.
And we don't know. We don't know. Was he in the throes of having a heart attack, clutching his chest, and he's using his foot rudders?
It could be anything.
Exactly. It could be anything. And like I said, because they allow kits to be built and to fly over people, and things like that, and they're not required to have a black box, I have an issue with, especially when they tell me I can't fly my drone over a bridge. Well, how am I supposed to get over it? Through the bottom?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
totally.
They allow people to fly these machines that weigh thousands of pounds, the airplanes hundreds of thousands of pounds, whatever they weigh. You can fly them over people, you can fly them over cities, you can do all of that. And this one guy goes up in a helicopter and they call him a hero because he crashed on the roof.
Well, now, you know what? If I crashed my drone up there, you know what all kind of talk would have been?
You know what kind of talk it would have been?
After I got arrested.
You wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
Now, had he survived, and I wish and prayed for his family and friends that he would have, I would like to know what would they have done. And this is an issue because it's not just him doing that. I live out here in Far Rockaway, Queens. It's a piece of Long Island, which they consider themselves not even a part of New York. They want to become their own state. Okay. But all the time, Herman will tell you, Justin, anyone from New York will tell you, if we're flying along the beach, the law is a helicopter or plane can follow the coast as long as it's over the water.
Yeah.
But these helicopters are at 150 feet, 200 feet, they're playing skimming over the sand.
Right over the beach.
Right over the beach. Do you know how many times we've had to avoid helicopters and or planes because of this? And you know what the FAA tells us? We're in their way.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have a major issue with that. Hi, Val. I'm sorry, I'm ranting again.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
It was one of my videos, Paul. Lawrence and I were out flying, and we were actually getting good footage that day. And it was a nice day. No one bothering us. We had our vests on, looking nice and pretty. And we were out there flying, and I swear to God, it seemed like these tour helicopters, the tour helicopters,
Yeah,
were telling their passengers, "You want to see some guys flying drones? Come on, let's go." And they just kept coming over to where we were.
Yeah,
No matter where I would move to, he would come there.
yeah, yeah. And we happen to know here in New York, 9 out of 10 helicopters can see the drone on radar, and police and government officials can see the drone and the radio. And that's how they triangulate the police to where you are if you're doing something you're not supposed to. Now, there have been times where Herman and I have been at a meetup with 15, 20 people, and the helicopters come and just hovered a quarter mile, half a mile away from us, and they're hovering there because they're collecting data. They were collecting data at the time from all of the drones that were in that area at that time. Herman could not return home because a helicopter was in his way. So he had to take another route and a lower route to get back to where we were. Because whenever we see a police copter, especially if they're hovering or they're circling, we bring everybody down and we bring everybody in. And Herman could not return from where he was because the helicopter was between him and us.
Oh God.
So that made for fun, but we're used to it. As far as this guy here, there was no excuse for it. Even the news stations that have helicopters said we were grounded early. It was in TFR, temporary flight restriction issued due to weather.
Yeah.
And there's the one that's over, Trump Towers. So he should, where he crashed, he wasn't even supposed to be there. Even if it was a good
yes.
Even
Now,
if it was a good day, he wasn't supposed to be there.
I'm going to post a link, and you guys, I would highly suggest that you check out the link afterwards, but you'll see that this is immediately after takeoff. His flight lasted 11 minutes, okay? And you'll see after he's going up, he dives towards the water. Now, the only reason he would dive towards the water is because as he got higher, he couldn't see, and you could use the water as orientation. Okay, the water's there, that's down, this way is up. Any logical pilot would know that. Even flying a drone, you would know this if you lost orientation. Now, that link is the actual video of someone with their cell phone. Don't click on it now. Stay to the show. Bookmark it, put in a watch later or whatever. But the way he was flying, the radar, and I can't find it anywhere, but I've only saw it on the news. The radar footage showed him after takeoff doing figure eights. Now, if there was something wrong, they would have showed him doing figure eights and descending. I could see that. I've seen helicopters. We see helicopters. One crashed in New York a couple of weeks ago, and he does a spiral and he slowly descends. Okay. But this guy did the figure eights and then went on ahead, flew straight, and did figure eights again, meaning he didn't know where the F he was.
Well, either that or, like they were saying, maybe he had a problem with his engines.
No, because if he did, how come the tower says there was no communication, and he would have at least given out one mayday?
Yeah, he didn't give a mayday at all.
He didn't give a squawk. They have a button you can press in helicopter.
Then why didn't he do that when he was in trouble either? So, it's like I said, it's all speculation.
Yeah, it is, because even if, like I brought up, maybe he was having a heart attack, but he should have at least keyed his mic and says, "I have a medical emergency."
Everybody knows that he had
anything now, and you don't even have to key because most of the headsets now respond to voice. You talk, they click in. There's no more press the button, 1 Adam 12. You don't have to do that no more. You talk and the mic communicates. There was no communication between him and the tower. He was pissed off, first of all, because he had a 2-hour wait and the weather didn't do anything but get worse. And like I said, people may think I'm mean for saying what I'm saying, but whoever was in that helicopter office at that time needs to be freaking fired.
Yeah.
And my wife goes, that damn secretary.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, it's all speculation. We know from the footage that there was something wrong. But
And
what they're
Paul,
saying is that they don't even know if that was his helicopter, but we know he was the only helicopter flying at the time.
right. Now, the helicopter was flying erratically. Keep in mind, all helicopters over the island of Manhattan were grounded. Now you have a helicopter flying erratically, okay, and all of a sudden, boom, a helicopter drops on the ground. I gave my theory about that. I believe he got too high and said, yo, the weather's really bad up here. Let me drop down to where I can see. The cloud ceiling was between 400 and 500 feet. The roof of the building that he hit was at 752, which means he had to be above that and descending or
Yep.
falling from,
And he was so disoriented by the clouds
or
that
falling from the
he came
sky.
down on top of the building.
Right. Now I could see, if you see the video, I'm going to put the link again. If you look at the video, after he takes off, he dives. And like I said, the only reason he could be diving is because he said, oh, wow, I can't see a thing. Let me get down lower. Oh, there's the water. Okay, I know where I'm at.
Right.
And then he goes off and starts doing the figure eights. But this all happens after he disappears into the clouds.
Now I was out that day, and it, you know, just from the ground you could see how thick it was up there.
Right. And I live 4 blocks from the ocean. It was not a half mile out here. There was not a half mile visual that you could see. You could only see 2 blocks, 3 blocks. Now keep in mind also the speed of the helicopter. At a minimum, it can travel 100 miles per hour. Even if he saw the building and tried to avoid it and went up or whatever, lost control, my point is he shouldn't have been up there that high, because once the building came out of nowhere, he couldn't stop anyway.
Yep. He couldn't flare fast enough.
Exactly my point. You can't take an airplane traveling at 300 miles per hour, 200 miles per hour, and make a 90-degree turn at will. If that's not going to happen, that 90-degree turn may be over a couple of cities. At that speed. You know, so there's a lot of physics behind it. Like I said, my personal theory is he said, oh my God, I messed up. Let me go back down to the water where I can see.
He should have came back.
Now, he should at that point landed.
Yeah,
but the helicopter was equipped with radar to see through bad weather. You know what the problem was? He wasn't licensed to use it.
He wasn't trained. Yeah.
He wasn't licensed to. No, it wasn't. I'm sure he knows how to use it, but according to the FAA or whatever the rules are, he didn't have a license and wasn't authorized to use that equipment. Now, I'm sorry if I'm flying, first of all, in weather like that, whether I'm licensed or not, I want to see where I'm going. I'm turning on beacons, lights, flares, whatever I got to do to see wherever the hell.
Windshield wipers, everything.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds sad to say, but no one has said who was in the control tower when he took off and who was in that office when he took off. They're all focusing on him.
Right.
And that leads me to believe that people are being paid off to shut their damn mouths.
Because he's no longer here. He's no longer with us to say his part.
Yeah, right. He's the guy that's going to carry the package on, you know.
Right. And that's the bad part.
And I feel like I said, my condolences to him, his family, and his friends. But if you're going to go after someone, go after that fool that let him take off from the ground. Because here in New York, after 9/11, anything that goes, and here's something else. You may not know about flying, but whether it's a plane, helicopter, or Kitty Hawk, you're supposed to have a flight log.
Right. Yep. Well, you know what?
Have a flight log.
Also, what took place too, Paul, is that after 9/11, all of these buildings in Manhattan have what do you call it? They've all come up with a system to get everyone out of the building.
Yeah, evacuation.
Right, an evacuation plan. The World Trade Center had it before the bombing. They had it because they were attacked before that. I remember my mother used to work at the
garage. Yep, the garage bomb, right?
Right. My mother used to work at the hotel over there, and she told us about this new evacuation plan that they had. And after she was gone, no longer, she had retired, from over there at the hotel. They had the bombing over there, and the evacuation plan that they had was somewhat strange because my neighbor, she lives upstairs, and she's retired now since then, but she was working there, and when she felt the plane hit the Trade Center from inside the hotel, and she started to notify the people on the floor that she's in charge of what happened, because once they hear and they these things, they're supposed to get everybody, everybody's attention to get out of the building. Well, this woman ran all the way down the stairs in the hotel, out the building, onto the sub home in her uniform from work, and never told anybody that she was gone.
So she got
about fear, but my thing is the building came down and she was gone. So no, I mean, I hope that I'm quite sure that they've fixed it, they've solved the problem since then. But I'm quite sure in the beginning they all thought she was probably still in there.
Well, here's something getting back to the helicopter incident. Love My Drones put it takes a course to get an IFR rating, including a number of hours in the air with an instructor on board while you fly with the hood so that you can't see the instruments. And that is true, because I saw someone taking airplane flight lessons. Yeah. And the guy told her to close her eyes, and she kept peeking. So he came prepared. You know, his little sleep mask.
Yeah.
He told her to put that on. She's like, "Well, how am I supposed to fly?" He says, "Well, you're not supposed to know where you are or how you are, but you have to respond so that when you open your eyes." He told her turn left, pull up, and the plane was in an awkward position. And by opening your eyes, you're supposed to reorientate yourself through the equipment.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that he was in a helicopter that had this equipment, I don't give a damn. If I was flying and wasn't supposed to use it, I would have used it, plain and simple.
Well, it comes back to, I guess we're all in agreement that probably none of us would have ever taken off in the first place.
No, you're right. You know why? Because that's one way you will not see this black man die, in a helicopter. You will never get me in a helicopter. You put $10 million in a helicopter and said all you had to do is no, you can keep that $10 million. I have a drone. That's why I have a drone. I know what it looks like from up there. I don't need to be up there.
Exactly.
That's right, Ed. Ed, that's what my dad had to do. He was only allowed to fly looking at the instruments, not out the window.
Yeah.
So the only orientation he was able to get is what he could do.
Right, but and
the instruments.
Val, that's how they fly airplanes.
Yeah, that was my dad with an airplane.
It did.
I don't know what they do with helicopters. I have no idea.
No, why do you think the windshields are so big? So you can look down and see the ground coming.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've spoken to a couple of pilots, and they really don't like helicopters. Guys that fly planes, they really don't like helicopters.
When I was in the Army, we got the flying map of the Earth. Flight once at the top of the trees. Oh, they got to fly over the top of the trees with your feet hanging out the door. And you want to know what, Night Train? That's why you fly FPV now, because you're a freaking nut. I would not be hanging my feet out the door. I'll get on any roller coaster in the world with my feet dangling, but I'm not getting in a helicopter. We see helicopters fall out the water at least once or twice a year here in New York.
Yeah.
It's ugly.
Well, I see it like this. I don't even get on the roller coasters anymore.
No, I'll do that. I'll get on any roller coaster there is. You know what scares the hell out of me? Those wood coasters because they stretch and bend.
Yeah, oh, yeah, they move.
Right,
Oh,
like,
well,
like
you know what, Paul? You know the Cyclone here in New
Yeah.
York is made
Yeah.
out of wood.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really think that when it's going, right, what it does, it takes 2 steps towards the street and 2 steps back.
yeah,
Towards the street and 2 steps back.
Yeah,
yes.
and it makes you feel like there's play in it. Like, hey, is that
No, Paul.
gonna come on?
It is. Else
It
it will
doesn't.
snap.
Paul, stop right there. It doesn't make you feel. There is play. When you
It is.
stand there and watch this thing, it like Herman says, the cars go and the roller coaster moves.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with the with the World Trade
I
Center.
don't know my drones.
Steps back.
Did you know before the Twin Towers went down? Did you know that the World Twin Towers had a sway point of 3 feet?
I
If
heard.
you were at the very top, you could feel yourself moving 3 feet like this.
If you ever go downstairs, you can look at
Mm-mm-mm.
the building and how it's built. You can see where they give where it's made to do that.
Yes,
Because
yes.
these truss that go through certain parts of the building, and it's like they sit like on an angle, and you go down in the bottom, and it's able to
Yeah.
give and go. And when you're up at the top, you actually feel that sway.
Yes.
And
yes.
when you look out from the windows, it looks like if the building is actually leaning over to the other buildings like this, like you getting a better look at them.
And that's why I started flying drones. I used to be a messenger, right? And I had to deliver up in a skyscraper that's like 60 stories high. And at that time, I had never been past like 40 stories. And the lady says, I'm calling the person you want. And I was like amazed just looking out the window because the whole office was just glass all the way around. So she says, go look out the window, enjoy the view. And I said, well, I don't know. I've never been up this high. And I looked out the window and I was cool until I looked down. And I looked like this. And all of a sudden, everything started. and I literally stumbled back from the window. Vertigo kicked in and I stumbled back from the window. And I'm going to tell you something. When you're up that high, it's scary, even if you're in a building.
Yeah, I could never figure out. You've seen on the great big high skyscrapers now, they have that glass box that's out off the side, and you can stand there, and you're just surrounded by glass. Even there's no floor; it's just glass below you.
Oh, if you want to talk about that,
yeah.
there's a skyscraper that has a glass slide outside. You go up to one floor and you slide down about 10 floors around the outside of the building.
And it's glass, fiberglass.
Yes. And there's also a bridge somewhere in Asia. The bridge is made of wood, and you walk and you walk and you walk. And then to get to the other side, there's a 15-foot piece of plexiglass. And people get to it, and for some reason, it's the fight or flee in a human.
Places I'll never go.
It's the fight or flee. I've seen people walk to the glass and then crawl all the way back.
Yeah.
They've crawled all the way back. It's just something about being up high like that. But getting back to this guy in New York here, we will never know what happened because he's dead. We don't know if it was a heart attack. We don't know if he was descending and just said boom and slapped into the building, which it looks like, because the way that helicopter caught fire, there was only a 6 to 10 foot piece of metal left. Everything else was totally incinerated, which means he had to hit it really, really hard and really fast.
Dropped on the building.
Right. Now, did it run out of fuel? Did he have a heart attack? We will never know. But
I think you're right, Lawrence. What we will never know is, did he have the heart attack before, or did he have the heart attack just before he knew he hit the ground?
Either one would have took me out.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey guys, I have to head off for work, but I just wanted to come and say
thank you for popping in, Val.
bye.
Thank you for coming, Val.
We appreciate it.
Bye, Herman. Bye,
I'll
Paul.
see you
Bye,
later.
Lawrence.
Bye,
All right.
Val. We could give you a little.
No.
Yeah, come
No.
on, come on.
No.
Val, look, I'm about to do it. She's out. She left.
Y'all chase Val away. He was about to pull a stick out and poke both of you.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Herman and I joke all the time when somebody's doing something, you should pull out a very big stick and just go, no. If she could do that, she probably would have did that.
Oh
too.
yeah.
If Val knows we love her. I'm glad she got a chance. Herman, did you send me a link?
Hey, let me.
I don't have Hadley's
I
email.
don't have it either. It's on. I gotta go to.
Okay, check this out, Hadley. I'm going to put the link in here for a few seconds, and you can get it.
I think I got Hadley's email.
If you do, please send them an invite. But
Let
oh,
me
I'm
check
sorry. Night Train and Centroid. Centroid was asking. I told him that I fixed my drone. Centroid. To make a long story short, I ordered a United States version receiver to come in a drone. They sent me a European version. Out of the hundreds of people that I asked to help me, no one thought about flashing the receiver. They had me flash the radio and everything else, but to make a long story short, I flashed the receiver and my Cineroop works. So now on to the next project.
Do you have it, Paul?
I'm scrolling down looking. I
And
thought I had it.
Paul should have everybody, a little bit everybody in there. Oh, and Paul and everyone else listening to this live stream, on the 23rd, I will be having Billy Kyle on my channel. What's up?
How's it going?
How's it going, brother? Hope all is well. And how come you ain't out flying like everyone else? And trust me, if Herman and I didn't have a live stream to do twice a week, I would probably, pardon me while I chow down these BLTs. Night Train, you need to see a BLT here that I brought for my daughter one time. I go into the store and I'm 6'3".
Did you
So
find it?
when I order a gyro or something, usually they give you a normal portion. Well, what I do is I tell the guy, put extra meat on it. I brought my daughter home a BLT that could have probably fed a family of 5.
Yeah, see, he's about to go fly now.
Who, Eddie?
Eddie.
He's about to go to Canarsie Piers. Dude, what's over there at Canarsie Piers?
Canarsie Piers.
Trying to catch the sun going down.
Okay, I just sent it.
If you're catching the sun going down, then that might be worth it. For what it's worth, I was late to your show because I was flying. That's okay. For the love of drones, you don't have to ever explain yourself for coming late to a live stream here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Mark, with Hell's Pawn, what's up? And welcome to Wednesday nights with those guys.
I was hanging
Centroid,
the other night.
we need to plan something. I don't know when, but I just got Billy Kyle's schedule. And when I say his schedule, I have his schedule from June 22nd going all the way to August of when he's free. So we want him to come here to New York a couple of times. We want to go to Philly and have those guys meet him in Philly. Billy and I came to the conclusion also that it would be easier instead of going live to pre-record everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So look out for that. Also on the 27th of this month, Herman and I are going to a drone convention in New Jersey, Atlantic City Casinos. I had a senior moment there.
Yeah,
Atlantic City Casino.
Herman was telling me, Lawrence, that you have booked the executive suite there, and he was tickled to death.
Man, if I booked the executive suite, every time one of these drones went down, I would just replace it with a new one.
You know,
I'm trying to work on it.
you know what's funny about that executive suite, Paul? I was working at the Hotel Intercontinental here when they were renovating it.
Uh-huh.
And I just happened to be working up in what they call the presidential suite. And they have this piano in there. And it's a nice suite. It's a few different rooms. So I'm in there and it's break time, and I'm sitting there. I got my sandwich and I'm sitting on the queen size bed or king size bed, whatever size bed it was, and I'm watching Jerry Springer on TV. And the foreman comes through with some guys on a walkthrough, and he sees me in there. He looks at me and just closed the door. But
You know what, Herman?
yeah.
Yes, Mark. No, Mark, don't worry about it. I'm still a little emotional because with this helicopter incident, I'm a firm believer they get on us all the time about drones and racing drones and robots and all this shit, and all I want to do is fly. Here it is, this guy was flying in a no-fly zone when he wasn't supposed to be, and they're calling him a hero because he crashed a helicopter on top of a building. And like I said, I have condolences to his family and friends, but I have an issue with that. I'm not mad at him. I want to know how come no one has said who was in the control tower and who was at that heliport that let him take off. And until I find out that information, it's going to bother me because if you remember, you heard it here first. If you don't hear anything about
Hey,
the
Hadley.
control tower or whoever the hell else was at that heliport at the time when he took off, they're putting it under the hush.
Well,
Yeah.
I say this because it's easy now that he's no longer here to speak that he had no communication with the tower. And I still
Yeah.
find it hard to believe that manned aircraft of any kind can take off in New York City area after September 11th and air traffic control does not know.
Exactly. Now, here's something also. He took off without a flight plan. Hey, Hadley, he took off without a flight plan. He took off during a temporary no-fly zone when every helicopter in Manhattan was grounded. Okay. And he took off and flew over Manhattan. Now, like I said, I mentioned it earlier. Had he survived, I would like to know what they would have done to him. And Centroid says he agreed. It's sad, but there is a double standard against drone hobbyists. It's not drone hobbyists, it's against hobbyists, period.
Well, it's
When
again,
you look at it.
yeah, you're right. Because, like I said, if that was a drone or even a fixed wing plane RC plane that hit that building, you couldn't even bloody murder if you had landed in the same
Not even. That's baloney.
fire.
Herman, that's a crock of bull. I'm gonna tell you what would have
I'll be right
happened.
back, guys.
My drone would have crashed on that rooftop. They wouldn't have found that shit until next month. Until they did roof inspections. You know that.
Hadley said he'd be right back.
Well, you could have told them that you crashed up there.
The other question I have that nobody seems to want to address is New York City is one of the most crowded airspaces in the world with some very accomplished pilots, commercial pilots of all different levels that they can see and hear whatever's going on there. And nobody has come out and says, yeah, I heard him say, or I heard him talk, or we saw him on our radar screen, on our cockpit radar.
Exactly my point.
Now, Paul, I'm gonna bring up some, and Lawrence has probably mentioned, and I'm gonna come out and then I'm gonna say what happened. I took off with my drone from Randall's Island, and I flew down to the 59th Street Bridge, which it's not too far from where he took off from. But before I could get back, there was a police helicopter hovering.
Right.
Yep.
Now, what triggered that police helicopter?
Yep.
The drone?
I would imagine.
How did he take off? And he keeps saying we didn't know. It's the same thing they did September 11th. Oh, we didn't know. We didn't know. Somebody knew.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a pilot, but I can guarantee you anything above 500 to 600 feet they can see.
And I'm quite
And
sure
the reason-
there's pilots out there that's going to make an excuse for to say that, oh, there's a possibility that they didn't know.
Yep. And if air traffic control saw him doing figure eights, like you said, Lawrence, they would have alerted all the aircraft in the area that we have an erratic pilot situation.
This is true. Texas girly Donna and Charisse Thanks for stopping in the Wednesday nights with those guys. I don't know how you find us, but if we just came up on your phone, this is the right place to be if you're into drone talk and things like that, or just want to get some support from other people, which I don't know if everyone's doing that in the room, but support each other. We haven't mentioned it.
Right.
And
We're
6:35, Herman, and we haven't done a drop.
Yeah, I know. This is a drone-based channel, and you guys check out each other's channel. I know most of you. I know a lot of you have some very good content on your channels, and I think you guys might want to check each other out, support each other, help the community grow.
Charisse, I just supported you. And Texas Girly, I will support you as well. We only ask that you do not put that word. This isn't a sub for sub channel. We support each other by saying hi and checking out each other's profiles.
Yep.
You know, so welcome to Wednesday nights with those guys. We're on every Wednesday night,
Cherie,
5 p.m. New York City time or Eastern Standard Time till 7. What's that?
Texas Girly just said that she found you guys through Pusa Studios live stream.
Okay, well that's very much appreciated, and we definitely appreciate the support for real.
Yep.
Thank you.
I do lottery.
I just got both of you.
I do lottery scratch offs. I lose money. Well, don't feel bad for yourself. Lottery's designed to get money for the state, and if you notice, the only people that win scratch off games already own their own house and have 2 cars.
Yeah.
Not always. Not always. We've had a couple of delivery guys from the deli win, and I know they stopped riding that bike at the deli.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I actually stopped Lotto at one of the local bodegas around here. You know why?
Why?
They found out that 2 of the bodega employees hit the lottery for large amounts. What they were doing was, they come in stacks like this of like 500 to 1,000. What they were doing was they were taking their paychecks and buying stacks. Now, in those stacks are an allotted amount. Nobody knows how much you're going to win or whatever, but they were scratching the bottom and scanning it. Winner, put it in a pile. Scan it, winner, put it in a pile. Scan it, winner. And because here in New York, crime is so bad, the video cameras that are in local bodegas and some stores are hooked up directly to local precincts.
Yep.
So at a precinct, they were watching, someone had hit them to it, and at a local precinct, they had watched the guy grab the stack out and give the guy like whatever hundreds or amounts of money it was, and just take the games and sit there and scratch, winner, loser, winner, loser, 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 and they took away their lottery license because of that.
Yeah, I'll give you guys an instance. About 10 years ago, I was involved in a deli that was in a major mall, and it was being run by a very good friend of mine's wife, and she hired these girls to be there in the morning because of mall walkers and breakfast and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, he got notice. My friend got notice from the state of Michigan, made a big deal because he was a state representative, a big deal about how he was one of the top sellers in the whole state of Michigan for selling scratch-off tickets. And Terry didn't know how's that? And so come to find out, he started asking around the mall workers and the employees. The girls were standing there in the morning scratching off tickets. They weren't even buying them. They were just scratching and in the hopes they'd win, and then they could pay it back, and then they weren't paying it back. And we ended up, this is 10, 15 years ago, we ended up owing the state of Michigan $25,000.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy. And you know what's messed up about it, Paul? The largest scam that any state could have is the lotto.
Yep.
Lottery. And go ahead.
No, I was watching a thing. I think
later, Centroid. Later, Mark.
See you later, Centroid. It was on a news program, and this old elderly couple, they had a system that they had figured out. This lottery, it doesn't exist anymore, but they figured out this system to not win, but to work this lottery. Because what it did was it somehow it paid down in tiers. I don't know exactly what it is, but they got all of their friends involved. They were all retired, and they got their friends involved, and they just worked this lottery and just kept winning and winning. They had X amount of capital to buy so many tickets, and they were just working it, and they were winning.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. My wife my wife proved this theory, and we had found out, and I forget how I found out about it, but the way the lottery makes money is you go in, you buy one or two of these tickets, you buy one or two. You can't buy the tickets like that. And my wife is proof because she did it. Okay. And what you do is you go and you buy 7 to 10 tickets, 5 at a minimum. And I swear to God, my wife can confirm right here. She brought 10 tickets of one and like 7 of another. For 2.5 hours, she was winning, and we were scratching and going back and getting 15 more. Give me 20 more, and she left. She wound up Make a long story short, she wound up keeping a little money and or just breaking even. But it's designed so that if you pick that 1 or 2, you're never gonna win. You're never gonna win. And for 2 hours,
block.
But for 2 hours, dude, we kept going back to the store. Let me get 6 of these. Let me get 10 of those. And she like I said, didn't get ahead or lose, but she pretty much just barely broke even. And had we stopped in the beginning, we would have been ahead to begin with.
You know what's funny about what you're saying?
But that theory about buying more than 2 or 3 tickets may really work.
Now, you know what's funny about what you're saying?
Why?
I worked at Burger King when I was in school. And you know the little scratch-off game pieces that they have? They actually have a barcode that they know that the numbers between such and such is small fry, Whopper. And you know already as an employee what this is already before it's even scratched off.
Here's another hint. Which diversing from drone shows, but here's another hint. And my friend, who's a very big gambler, pointed this out to me. You know how everyone scratches off the scratch part of the scratch games?
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. He scratches the bottom because it actually tells you what you win. TWY means 20. NIN is 9. THR is 3. And if you look at the scratch games, if you won $2, it'll be TWO or T. It tells you basically what you want on the bottom of the scratch game without going through all that suspense. But I guess you have to be a gambler to really get off on that.
Back in the early 70s, when I was right out of college, I went to work selling cars, and I had a really big week, so I got a really big commission check. And they just came out with the Michigan Scratch-Off lottery game. And I went down and I bought $200 worth of lottery tickets. And we sat around the showroom for a good hour or so. Everybody was scratching tickets. And I won back $7.
Yeah.
And that cured me. I've never bought
it. I would imagine that it does. I mean, Texas girl, it says she's in Houston. Okay. Elliot, stop trying to pick up the women in our chat, man.
Yeah.
She leave the women alone, man.
Yeah, Elliot. Well, you know, I was concerned when I first heard about that helicopter. My thought was did Elliot get a helicopter we didn't know about, and was he trying to
He was in the building.
I almost called to say, is Elliot all right? You know?
Yo,
in the building,
Paul.
Yeah.
6 blocks over.
That's a good thing, Paul. That's a good thing because Elliot has decided to keep his feet and hands on the ground at all times, and I'm glad he did because he's a hell of a photographer.
Yeah, he is.
He's a really, really great photographer.
Well, he's a great personality too. But
if you put it,
when I heard somebody hit a building, I thought, oh my God, is that Elliot?
Hold on. Elliot trying to get his Mac on while we streaming, man. I was born in Fort Lauderdale too with the pimp voice.
Fort Worth. Yep. Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, yeah.
Don't let him lie. He's from Jersey.
Texas girl, you fly a drone? Oh no, you fly planes. You have to take a Xanax. I wouldn't want to take a Xanax before flying a drone, so I'm assuming you're talking about flying planes. which is quite okay.
Before you fly in a plane, not fly a plane.
Right. I don't take it. They actually stopped that. They don't have letters anymore. Oh wow, so you're dating yourself, Charisse. But welcome. Anyway,
Yeah, Elliot's been chatting her up pretty good there, I see.
Hey, Elliot. Hey, the check's in the mail, buddy. But is there anything you want to talk about? Because it's 6:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And
this stuff here.
Herman's got some.
do you think we covered everything, Herman?
I don't know what else you had. The only other
What
thing
else I had? What else did I have? What else?
we talked about the enforcement. We talked about DJI's release.
And you talked about you guys going to Philadelphia and also doing something in New York.
Right. Also, I talked about them putting AI in racing drones now.
Yeah.
Well,
to beat humans.
So some of what was on at the symposium, basically we were saying before that the FAA is going to have a big push on safety. They actually have something going on this summer. I don't know of the location as of yet, but they're going to have a big thing going on this summer, the FAA, talking about safety and drone flying.
You know what scares me about that?
What?
Honestly, the FAA, hey, Hellspawn, I want that DJI robot.
Well,
Don't take it, dude.
This,
Dude, you're going to get that robot and you're going to wake up and it's going to have your gun point when you get out of bed. Then what are you going to do?
Or you're going to
do?
you're doing the late night walk to the bathroom. It's going to be shooting your butt. Boom, boom, boom.
Right. No sponsors. See, Jay Santiago says no sponsors. We haven't done a sponsor break.
Well, in a second, but we have also talked about knowledge and safety tests that they're going to be implementing for hobbyists. Not something along the lines of like what DJI did, but nothing too major, because other than that, you might as well become 107.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just a basic
right.
400 ATL, don't fly over people, blah, 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 blah.
Remote ID is several years in the making still. And, basically that's about it.
Yeah, Elliot's still working, or he says, you work for United?
I can see Elliot now. He's got a long cigarette and his pen pack and some cognac. And he's like, baby, please, baby.
But watch out, he might fall. He always peeking out that window.
Yeah,
I don't know what's coming to get him.
Yeah. You gotta watch out.
Let's get that. You want to get that break now? For the sponsors. So
let's get it out of the way.
Okay. Everyone in the chat, Wednesday night with those guys are sponsored by
those
guys.
There you go. Thank you so much. You guys are the biggest CBs. I don't know what a CB is, and Elliot.
Crybabies.
Crybabies. I live in Florida too.
Yeah.
Who's a crybaby?
Who's a crybaby, Elliot?
Hey, he's Elliot's on a roll because we're messing with his game. Hold on. Elliot met someone that actually wants to talk back to him.
Yeah.
Let him do what he do.
Oh, not crybabies, C blocks. Okay. I have to erase it, but all right. So, oh my goodness, Elliot. No, we're not. Actually, Texas girl, Elliot's a nice man. As long as you give him McDonald's French fries, he's happy. Yeah. And I know this personally.
Yeah, he's not a high maintenance kind of guy at all, is he?
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's definitely not.
Involved.
And he knows how to protect himself. Let's leave Elliot alone.
You know what though? You're talking about those swarm and the drones.
Oh yes, we did talk about swarm drones, and my only issue with swarm drones is the government already has them. So if we're talking about it now, I can guarantee you they're already working.
But imagine Elliot at the controls.
Oh no! Probably take out the whole NYC Fireborough drone meetup.
Well, maybe what Elliot needs to do is start flying FPV. Then he could have
Oh no! Stop, Paul.
a thing named after him, the Elliot.
Paul. The man hit a building at moving anywhere from 6 to 18 miles an hour. Imagine him doing 60 to 100.
Yeah, that'd be
kill somebody.
that'd be
Flat on the street. You see people
Hey, what's up, Mike Rose? Elliot, she says McDonald's fries are gross. Well, he only needs them as a food source. You feed him fries, he's happy. He's a cheap date. Think about it that way. How much do McDonald's fries cost?
She said McDonald's fries are gross.
Yeah.
Whose fries do you like?
Oh, Mike Rose says he's like, okay, Texas girly, Donna, what kind of fries do you like? Do you make your own, or do you make your own fries, or do you go out to fast food?
Well, maybe she doesn't even eat fried. Maybe she
That's
doesn't.
a possibility.
She doesn't eat fried French fries.
Okay, she doesn't eat fries. What kind of taters you eat?
Yeah. Maybe she doesn't eat taters. Maybe she's just.
She said homemade fries. All right. See, the person that will take the time to make fries. See, Elliot, she's perfect for you. She makes her own fries.
I have this thing here, Lawrence,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be able to cut your potato to make French fries.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, I was at Sears, and the guy did the whole demonstration. He was zip, 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 and then zip, 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 and we got beautiful French fries, and we do the zip, 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 and we got the onions, and and I'm like, wow, let me get one. So I bought it, and I've cut onions and stuff with it, and one day I was like, yo, let me make some fries with this thing. Whoa! Straight to the emergency room. Not one French fry I made with this thing.
Not yet, but you still have it. Well,
It's been sitting under the counter since the emergency room.
oh, that's not. Mike Rose says he just had BK. All right. See, at least BK puts in the flavor of charcoal.
Yeah.
At least, okay. Unlike McDonald's and
Bro.
huh?
It is flame broiled. That's all they claim. They don't claim charcoal.
That's right.
You know what they do? They freeze the patty. They take these heated grills and they burn the mark in, and then they take one drop of essence of smoke flavor.
I work there. It's a flame. It's a
Herman, when you worked at Burger King, Herman, they actually had fire. Now they have microwaves.
No, listen. The thing is still flame. That mark that comes out of the burger once it sits in the steamer that you're talking about is made from the chain link that it rolls on.
Rolls down it's like a pizza thing.
Yeah, rolls through that
that's what they show you in the window. But there's really a machine steaming them like this.
No, they have the flame broil, man.
Herman is correct. He says Herman is correct. All right.
Hey,
Okay.
Zach.
Yeah, sorry about that. Cadillac called about our truck. Getting it replaced, Paul. They're replacing our truck. Yep.
Wow.
I submitted a
Yeah.
submitted a lemon law form, and we got the ball rolling.
Good.
Had no choice. Yeah, we're at 20,000 miles. Same issue. You know, it's time. 24,000 is the maximum for the lemon law. So I got to go down either tomorrow or on Friday and take it in for the last diagnosis of the same problem, and then I'll be having to deal with somebody from Cadillac to bring me a truck that's the same.
What'd you have?
I don't know. Chevy Colorado,
Oh, okay.
2019. Yeah, it shakes on the highway. Like it's got a vibration in it, and they can't figure it out. And it's been to the dealership 10 times for the same problem.
Hadley. Hey, Hadley.
Yeah.
I have a 30-pound mallet that would fix that really quick.
Dude, I was just gonna say I've got a couple of things in the garage that could fix it real quick too, but it's not my problem. It's theirs. Because I know what it is. I told them what it was the first time I took it in. I told them that it's got a hard spot in the race in the rear end because I've had it happen before, and they won't listen. They won't replace just the simple little race on the bearings in the rear axle, and you can feel it. It's on the passenger side. It's predominant, and they've done everything. They've replaced the shock, the spring or the leaf spring. They've flushed the transmission, replaced the drive line. They've done all these things, and I'm like,
Was this
yeah, brand new, 2019.
Yeah, it's the dealership.
Yeah, dealership, and yeah, stupid stuff, right?
Well,
Yeah. Well, and I was a mechanic for 17 years, so.
They went through all of that so they could build whoever the manufacturer was for all of this time and all that shit on the car.
It's a Chevy. It's a damn Chevy, man. It should not have this problem. You know, I believe in American made, but damn it, they're really causing a disbelief right now.
Therese says, sorry about that slice off the finger thing, Herman, whatever that means.
Oh, well, I'm good. It didn't slice anything off. It went into the blade.
Cut. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have a prop get you?
No, he had one. He bought one of those where the demonstration for the put a potato in and you get fries out the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah, the thing where you gotta slide the fries over the blade and it slices.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You guys, I'll be right back. They're calling me back again.
Okay.
I'll be back
All
in
right.
a second.
All right, man.
Sorry.
Bye.
Time to get out of here too.
And yeah, well, my wife is. Are you done? So I guess I have 3 minutes left. What is the question?
I was casting something on here and I want to stop it because I found the full version of the movie,
Okay.
but I don't know how to stop the casting.
Use the. Let me mute, guys.
Okay.
Coming into the live stream, Lawrence?
Man, stop it. Don't cut it out.
I'm waiting for her to get up and sit down and Lawrence go off screen, and she will just take over.
You just see him go blank.
Yeah.
She comes back.
Yep.
Hey, I just muted. I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
We were waiting to see if she was going to drag you out of the frame.
Yeah.
Herman's always going, don't get beat up. And it's funny, Paul, because I'm 6'3" and my wife is, how tall are you, Diane?
5 feet.
She says 5 feet. I think it's 4'11".
Wow, don't.
Yeah, so.
That's it. He went past the beat up.
So did you get to eat the fries, Herman, after buying that thing?
What fries?
He's never done it since.
I know how to cut them with the knife now.
Well, see, that's what that device taught you. You should have used a knife to begin with.
It's safer, right?
Hey, what's up, Geeks Fun? I'm sorry you guys got here late.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
We do have a few good, decent topics, especially the helicopter here in New York. Do you think we covered everything, Herman?
Pretty much, unless you had something else. I mean, it's almost about that time to get up out of here.
No, I don't.
I covered everything on the list that I had here. Unless Paul's got something on something new.
Mr. Crowley says I buy fries frozen, and Geeks Fun says, hey, Herman.
Hey, how you doing, Sean?
The only problem is,
Elliot, Frankel, what is?
it is officially 6:59. It will be 7 p.m. in a few seconds.
It's 7 o'clock now.
So you want to do one more sponsor?
We never did a, well, we did do the first one, but it's 7 now.
Okay. Well, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
Those
guys.
There we go. Elliot scared her away.
Yeah.
See, Elliot, you scared her away when you said you made the falafel and salad.
He didn't get a chance to get her digits.
What'd you do? Take your shoes off? Well, you can harass her on her channel.
Yeah, right. If you were smart,
her channel. Yep.
If you were smart, you would have subscribed to her.
Subscribe to her channel. Yeah.
You would harass her on her own channel, like Herman said.
Yep.
Listen, it's been fun, guys, but I have to get out of here soon.
Okay. But I'd like to thank everyone in the chat for stopping by. Those of you who I see in the chat, those of you watching that haven't entered the chat, and those of you lurking from behind the sofa. I'd like to thank everybody for stopping in and hanging out with those guys.
And don't forget the 23rd. Billy Kyle is going to be on my live stream.
Yes, Billy Kyle will be on Novice Quads on what? The 23rd, you said?
The 23rd, correct.
23rd.
Of this month.
So make sure you guys check that out. Don't miss it. Be fun hanging out with Billy again.
Yes, later's Hellspawn.
And I will see everyone in the chat later. And thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me and Lawrence and Paul.
Thanks for supporting those guys.
Yep. It's always a pleasure to be here with you two because it's always informative and entertaining at the same time.
And for everyone out there watching, I will see you next time on Phantom Flight 101.